It's September 13th, 2023, and these are your headlines. The clock is running out for both sides in the impeachment trial of Attorney General Ken Paxton. As we talk right now, it appears like we may likely be done tomorrow. Of course, the senators can take as long as they need to come to a decision. Because time is running out, we've seen some of these witness testimonies go by pretty quickly. One that they took their time on today was Drew Wicker, a former aide, bagman to Ken Paxton. Wicker testified that he spent 8 to 10 hours a day with Paxton as part of his job. But while he was one of the prosecution's witnesses, he made some statements that appear to undermine some of their arguments. For example, he said he did not ever see Ken Paxton enter into any sort of agreement or conspiracy with real estate developer Nate Paul, as has been suggested time and time again by those seeking to impeach Paxton. A lot of noise, too, has been made about how Paxton must have been bribed by Nate Paul by having him pay for new countertops in a kitchen renovation, when in fact, the prosecution's own witness looking at before and after pictures of the kitchen said nothing had changed. No granite countertops, no new stove, no new cabinets, nothing. I cannot overstate the importance of this moment. After this happened, you even had some Democrats on social media saying, without evidence of quid pro quo, as they had hoped this would show, the case falls apart as this countertop hoax, echoed by the liberal media and the House prosecutors, crumbled on the stand. The witness last night, after we last caught up, was Darren McCarty, one of the whistleblowers who reported Paxton to the FBI. McCarty was the former Deputy Attorney General for Civil Litigation. His testimony mainly surrounded the office of the Attorney General's involvement in a legal dispute with the Mitty Foundation, who had been in a real estate conflict with world-class entities, which is owned by Nate Paul. Nate Paul, of course, has been at the center of many of these charges lobbed at Paxton. McCarty told prosecutors that the office's involvement made him uncomfortable, noting that the Office of the Attorney General is supposed to help charitable trusts. Of course, that's not the exact responsibility the office is tasked with. The office is supposed to represent the public interest in charity, as was pointed out by Paxton's defense. Their office received many inquiries alleging bad actions taken by charitable trusts. In fact, when Governor Greg Abbott, now governor, was Attorney General, he sued the Mitty Foundation, the very foundation discussed here. Cross-examination of McCarty started with Tony Busby, one of Paxton's attorneys, asking who was representing him legally. It's Johnny Sutton. Now, where have we heard that name before? As a bit of background, if you haven't followed this case closely, Sutton has strong ties to the Bush family. He was an advisor to George W. Bush when he served as Texas governor, and Sutton was later appointed to be a U.S. attorney when Bush was in the White House. Last week, we found out that he was representing at least one so-called whistleblower without billing him. That was Ryan Vassar. He said he hadn't discussed being billed, but that he expected to pay him at a later date. Now you have another whistleblower, Darren McCarty, saying that not only has he not been billed by Johnny Sutton, but he's not sure if he owes him anything. That's a pretty good deal for such a high-profile and highly connected lawyer. Testimony is expected to wrap up this week. We should have a decision in just days. File this as unbelievable. A Dallas church has announced they will be hosting a drag show to support drag queens who have contributed to our community in such inspiring ways. Those are their words. Cathedral of Hope, a church that claims to be LGBTQ owned, invited their members to show up for their 10 a.m. Sunday service to celebrate and embrace our drag queens. The church goes on to say that they will take a moment to offer their blessings to the drag queens who have contributed to the community in such inspiring ways. Additionally, the church said they will be taking an offering which will go to the Drag Defense Fund. Now, here in Texas, a new law prohibiting sexually explicit performances in the presence of minors was set to go into effect on September 1st. However, earlier this month, a U.S. district judge put a temporary restraining order on it, preventing the state from enforcing the new law, at least for now. The church is inviting its DFW area drag queen and organizations like Royal Court, Dallas Bears, and the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. The church is also a silver sponsor for the Dallas Pride Parade that is set to take place that same afternoon. In addition to the drag celebration, they encourage all their members to attend the parade. Sad. Lastly, the city of Odessa passed a resolution saying they will not be enforcing any COVID-19 mask or vaccine mandates implemented by the federal or state government. The resolution passed with 6 in favor and 1 council member abstaining. The council members voting in favor agreed that they would not subject their residents to mandates that, quote, would violate their right to freedom and liberty. The resolution states that the city of Odessa will not enforce any mandate, including requiring a person to wear a mask or any other face covering, confining a citizen to their home, requiring a business to alter its operations, including hours of operation, spacing requirements, or closing down the business, as well as requiring the administration of a vaccine within Odessa city limits. State Representative Brian Harrison, who attended the council meeting in support of the resolution, told Texas Scorecard that he's proud to see the city stand to protect medical freedom. For more news of the day, follow me on X at @BWaltons or go to TexasScorecard.com.
No ads, no paywalls, no government grants, and no corporate masters. Just real news for real Texans. This is Texas Scorecard.